Okay, this matters, actually. It does. So, inclusion. Before introducing our speakers, I would like to frame the idea of inclusion. The proposition is today to think it as a practice of care. Inclusion is often understood as adding people to an existing structure. It means it implies an invitation and some adaptation and integration. If you think of inclusion as a practice of care, the question shifts a bit and becomes what has to change? What do we have to change in this existing structure in order for people to exist, to learn, to dance, to move in full dignity? And this way, inclusion is not only about access, but it becomes a matter of sustained attention. Attention to difference, attention to power relation, attention to spacing, attention to buildings, attention to what's vulnerable. It means also that vulnerability is seen not as a deficit, but it's seen as a shared condition for everybody. To see inclusion as a practice of care shifts also the idea of responsibility. And it goes from an individual responsibility to a collective one. So it's not anymore, can you adapt? Can you fit the structure? Can you keep the tempo? But it is about what can we change for you to be included. Okay, so tonight actually the idea is to share good practices of inclusive care. It is also the idea that we can open a space for doubts and for questions, because we know that care practices are not a promise for harmony, or they often bring constant negotiation, constant limits. They can be difficult to sustain. It's not the easy path. And yet, here we are, because we are the living proof that actually care practices are important, and not because it's easy, but because I think they make us and our practices human. So if caring is something that humanizes us, it is also an action of resistance, because it commits to something complex. It commits to complexity. And that's why I think it's a very essential matter to discuss, and I'm very happy that you're holding this evening's dialogue. Okay. So holding this very complex and rich and demanding idea of inclusion, I would like to open up to our speakers. So meet Stéphane Bourris. He's a dancer and teacher, yoga teacher at P.A.R.T.S and Platform K, more than 10 years. You're also involved in several community projects in Brussels, bringing yoga to schools and to kids, and also Breathing, the project that supports young people and kids with breathing pathologies. Thank you for being here. Let's welcome Inge Latre. She's the artistic director of Platform K. a professional dance company for dancers with disabilities. You are based in Brussels and Ghent, and you coordinate and facilitate the bridge for your dancers to the professional field through many projects. We'll have time to speak about that. Thank you, Inge. And finally, Michael Pomero, dancer, choreographer, teacher, researcher. You are teaching at P.A.R.T.S. You've been member of the P.A.R.T.S faculty. You have collaborated with Rosas for many years, and you are also a member of several European platforms on dance and performing arts, such as the diversity platform for dance education. You're also founder of several collectives, like Youngsters in Brussels, building spaces and places to research and experiment through dance with young people. Thank you for being here. So, my first very big curiosity is you're all working at the intersection between dance practice, artistic practice, movement practice, and care. How did you get there? Where was it an encounter, an intuition? Was it a coincidence? How did you get there? What is your personal trajectory towards your work within the care and the arts today? Who wants to start? Maybe Mika?
Hello. Yeah. For me, it has been a very long journey, I have to say. I started to be a professional dancer, or to enter the professional field of dance at the end of the previous century. And I have to say that even the notion of care was completely absent from the way the work was done. So it's a very gradual, I come a long way, to say, where actually the conditions were quite violent, quite opposite to care that you are mentioning now. So it's a very long trajectory, and it has been through encounters of different projects or different people that those notions of care, of diversity, inclusion has filled me and fulfilled me through the years. If I also the learning of somatic practices that I've been exposed to in my career was also another entry point to the notion of care. And more recently, when working at P.A.R.T.S, a few 5 or 6 years ago, when there was the manifesto letter, then within in the school, a group was made called the Working Group Against Discrimination, that was gathering some of the teachers and faculty members and some of the students to try to think of the questions that were raised, or the accusations that were raised in that letter, of how to change the way the school was operating, and what could be improved or implemented to change the relationship from the students to the school. So that was a first deeper step into this thinking. And then, on the invitation of Gabrielle, that is here, I've been part of the DDE project, the Diversity in Higher Dance Education. It was a research project over 2 years with 14 international researchers, and studying the conditions of access, of hosting diversity, and what these schools produce over 3 schools in Europe: the Manufacture in Lausanne, P.A.R.T.S in Brussels, and SKH in Stockholm. And there I met fantastic people who brought a lot of knowledge to me, and really changed my vision on how to teach, on what a school could be. and what are the things to implement to transform and then I have to say it really changed my way of being in the world with the knowledge that I received from this group. So yeah, so it's a long way. It comes from the previous century with a very in a way toxic environment of working in the dance field to being exposed, meeting people that little by little brought me to a very different way of thinking dance, of thinking teaching, of thinking being together, simply.
I read I read on the youngsters and the Y platform website that youngsters was created after or during the pandemics, also as a reaction of a group of artists.
Yeah, yeah, the pandemic left quite some time for everybody to reflect on their lives and their activities. And so we gathered with 6 artists, all based in Brussels, with the same feeling that being a professional dancer for big companies was creating a gap between our life and the reality of the life of the people in the city. So it was this desire to merge our artistic practices to the encounters of young people. So that's the group that we wanted to work with, the youth in Brussels, to change our relationship to our practice. So we create projects where we, through experimentation and discussions, we facilitate groups of young people to create and to make together.
There is also the question of the diversity within the public that comes to see the shows also. No? It's for whom do we create, actually?
Yeah,
with whom and for whom?
The first question for them is often to just enter the theater or to enter the cultural places. So with this kind of project, you really feel, I mean, for some of them, we worked last year with a class in Molenbeek, and 16 years old young people, and some of them never crossed the canal. So they never crossed the canal in Brussels. And coming to Théâtre National was for some of them the first time to cross and to open the doors of such institutions that can be very impressive, or that you feel that you don't belong there. So on that level, it's extremely rewarding to be part of a project that delivers these possibilities to the youngsters. And also to the audience, because then it creates another audience because the parents are coming. I mean, so it changes the demographic of the theater.
Great. Maybe let's hear about you, Inge.
Yes.
How did you get there?
Involved in a way. It's a completely different story. I'm not a dancer. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a dance teacher. I was working in a Theater Antigone in Kortrijk at that moment, and I also was involved in the social artistic project they're doing there. But I felt I needed something more, so I started studying again, and I studied theater science, and I had a class, theater criticism, and we had to go and watch a lot of performances like dance, theater, and also some social artistic work. So I went to see Platform K in Ghent, a show, a first dance piece they made. And I was in the audience, and in the end of the show, everybody was applauding and standing and woo, and I was sitting there and I was thinking, oh my God, this was the most horrible show I have ever seen. And I couldn't, I was really angry. I felt a lot of anger inside of me. And when I went outside, my teacher, theater criticism, was there also. And he said, like, instead of being so angry and like putting it here, put it in a good criticism. And so I had to really think about why I was so angry and why I didn't understand that everybody was standing and applauding. And I came to the conclusion that it was because there were people with disability and dancers without disability on the stage. And I could feel the people with the disability, they were not educated in being on a stage. They were not educated in being a dancer at that point. And I was angry because I felt that like everybody should have the right to have an education and to be a side of people who can challenge you in your talents or what you want to become. And in that case, being a dancer. So when there was an opening for artistic director at Platform K, I applied for the job, and my application was everybody should have an education, and if there are no possibilities for people with disability to enter regular education systems, maybe we should start making them ourselves. So my application was like start building some kind of education program for them. And I started on very naive in a way, because I got the job then, and I had to do it. But I was very naive because I did everything that that you can't do. Like I started off with my idea of like what is a normal education. So the tempo, the amount of people being in a class, the switching of teachers in a huge quick tempo, not thinking about what are the needs in the studio. So we were with two, my colleague and myself, so we had a lot of things that went completely wrong. But out of all these mistakes, we learned a lot. And almost 13 years later, I think we have grown as a group, as a company, and with all the mistakes, and we will make a lot of mistakes in the future. But I think it's a dialogue that is happening every day. And Platform K from a year ago is not Platform K from today. And so we are evolving all the time, depending on the people who enter, depending on the encounters we have, depending on everything. So it's a never-ending process. But I think from my anger, and it's still my force to come into P.A.R.T.S and say, I think we should be here, or go into every other art and education house and say like, yeah, it's nice to educate new professionals, but where are all the different bodies and the different heads and the different, so yeah, this is a bit my entrance. So voila.
And motor, strong motor. So you have two studios or two places, one in Ghent and one here, two training programs here at P.A.R.T.S and there. And you are also doing productions that are touring.
Yeah, this is so the education system is the base to have actually to do the shows, or to actually create a platform for professional artists with a disability. This is the main focus, so that there's the base, like where they can educate themselves in the group and have the safety of the group. And in Brussels, this is here, and in Ghent, it's in 404 in the art center. But we also collaborate with Conservatorium in Antwerp. Our DNA is situated in collaboration, because I think you have to go out to open the world and make it happen in a way, because there are a lot of prejudice that lives there, and if you're not there, you can't explain what should start changing to make an inclusive world. So you have to be there, you have to encounter with everybody to really shift, to really make shifts possible. And in the beginning, when I started, I had to beg, Like I was everywhere. I begged, like, please, can you make a performance with us? Please, can you come and teach with us? And everybody was, no, but I don't know how to do it. I'm not used to working with other bodies, with other minds. And so it was like, yeah, but you don't have to. You don't have to. I ask you to bring in your professional practice, and we will make sure things will happen on the floor. And 13 years later, I can really say there's already a shift. There's shifts happening every year in a way. I don't have to beg anymore. Sometimes I do, but for money. But you feel there's much more openness. The world is like shifting a little bit, or the Flemish world. We are not there yet, but this is and creating and being and showing these productions. It's the way to show an audience that there can be a change, I think, and it's empowering.
And it's possible. I mean, to do it. It's possible to access to the stage with dancers with disabilities, and the eyes are changing, really changing.
And giving the applause for the abilities and not for, like, that's why I was so angry, because they were applauding because I heard people next to me saying, "Oh, but they're so cute," and I found it so horrible. And then now we get applause, and everybody's saying, "No, wow, I didn't even see disability anymore on stage," and it gave me so much, energy to see this kind of show in a way. So
when you are in the studio, I mean, when you are working with the dancers and with disabilities, it's so creative. Then you don't see actually the difference. It's
Voila. This is perfect.
This is it. Yeah, this is it. So I went to see one show of Platform K in the Tanner. Where is everybody? A collaboration with Zoo, and it was a long time ago that I have seen such a joyful piece, and I can totally see what you mean. Everybody is valued for what they are. Punto. There is
everything in a piece. Just they took what they are, what the dancers are, and for example, Anthony wants to sing. He sing. Oscar wants to write a poem. He say a poem on stage. I think it's very important to follow this, not to make like a format, and really to let the dancers express themselves.
Yeah, I was thinking also about the capacity of artists to actually teach people with disabilities or create a piece with them. I wonder if everybody is able.
No, but should they be all able to teach? I don't know if I would be a good teacher, or should they all create their own piece? I don't know, but there are people who want to create. Oscar will make a solo. We will start making a solo with Oscar in the end of 26. It will be a work in progress, just to give him the safety to develop first his own piece before showing it in an evening full. But yeah, he wants to, so let's explore. And there are people already, dancers teaching, some in the safe context of Platform K and with the supporters of Platform K nearby them. But not everybody. Anthony will not be a teacher, but he's an amazing performer, so let him perform.
Singer.
And a singer. So not everybody should be, I think, you should be able to grow in the capacity and your talents that you want to explore.
Mm-hmm. You really have to be available to see all this.
And you several times mentioned the importance of the context. So if the context is supporting and is safe, then there is no problem. There is no disability, actually. That's the thing.
Voilà, that's
Yes,
the
but
thing.
yeah, as a teacher, we have to create this space, the safety. And from the beginning of the class, you just arrive and you try to feel, how the dancers feel. It can be also with the dancer from P.A.R.T.S or dancer from Platform K, to try to read actually the body. Maybe sometimes you feel the energy really low into the space, sometimes a lot of energy, and you really have to be available to observe all this into the class.
Tell us what's your trajectory, Stefan?
Yes, I was more than 20 years. I was dancing in several company. I was dancing in Ballet de Lucerne in Switzerland, and in Béjar Ballet Lausanne, and both company was in Switzerland. Actually, we were dancing together with Mika a long time ago, and and we know actually about this system. I mean, with the hierarchy and this company, and later I decided to make a reconversion, and I took a class of Iyengar yoga, and I was searching something more, for everybody, to study something for everybody, not only for a specific body, and really, and in yoga, I really felt then, it's all person, people with disabilities. I mean, you can all practice this methodology. And yes, I was really charmed with this methodology, and I decided to make teacher training here in Brussels during 3 years. And I went oftenly in India. And in India, I took some classes with Usha Devi, and she's a person with handicap. And I really learned a lot from her teaching, and the way how she was adapting. Always this adaptation, use the space, we have in this methodology, we have some props, we use the props, and blankets, props, and really to develop the capacity into the movement. And when I went back to Brussels, I had the opportunity to work with Le Huitième Jour. It's an association with it's the mother of Pascal Duquesne. He's an actor now and dancer, and with the syndrome, Down syndrome. And I give some dance classes, but was more like a movement, not ballet, no, but movement. And it was really like an encounter with the group, and I really felt like, they put me really in front of this authenticity. Then I was searching actually into the movement, because there was no formatage, and later on I had this possibility to entrance and to work with P.A.R.T.S, with the dancer of P.A.R.T.S, and with Platform K. Now it's 3 years ago. Then I'm teaching in Platform K. I'm teaching yoga, but we're going to try, we have tried already, but we want to continue to do some ballet, because it's always interesting to see ballet looks like maybe some structure dance, but it's interesting, I see it always, to discover what this body, quite unstructured body, reflect with this practice, with the practice. And it's a constant research, and
Are the classes at Platform K with students from P.A.R.T.S and Platform K together?
No. It's
separate.
It's separate. Yeah, it's separate.
Okay.
But it's separate, but in a way of teaching, when I mean, you don't have a specific tool. You just you arrive and you feel you try to get this disponibility, availability to observe what's happened. You have to, for example, it can be a physical problem. It can be and we go more. Some dancers take the initiative to say, "Okay, I have this problem. Okay, you go and you work on this specific problem all together." I said, the people come and see around because it's good. I mean, for everybody to understand what's. To understand the problem and yeah, it's really yeah, I really feel this feeling to be yeah, available in each moment when you are teaching.
Yeah.
And
it's funny because I can totally visualize what you're saying. In a dance class, dancers, they are constantly negotiating and learning from each other, but they have to negotiate with space, with timing and rhythms and touching and weight, and it actually embodies the care values somehow. And I have often witnessed that moving together unlocks something with people that is very strong, and maybe because it is nonverbal, probably. What do you have to say on that?
and yeah.
I think, yeah, partly it's because it's non-verbal, but also for me, one of the biggest specificity of what we do is that we are everything at once. You're the performer, but you're also the instrument. There's no interface in dance. Like you carry everything with you, and therefore you can go deeper. You can sometimes go deeper or more honestly into yourself, because it doesn't go through the interface of an instrument, of another material. You do everything yourself.
Okay, what about the breathing project?
Yeah, it was after the COVID. I was working in a clinic with teenagers and children because they had some pathology of breathing. But actually we saw. I was working with a pedopneumolog together, and we saw that it was a lot of stress from the COVID, who brings this this closing access of the breathing, and we really had to reopen the body and yes, and really to feel then the breath can circulate it.
And I guess I've seen that you are a whole team, transversal, also creating this safe space around the
yeah, there is osteopath also,
patient.
singer.
There's also singing.
Yeah, everything is connected with the breath is yeah.
Yeah, of course, these caring practices are always here. It's more it's a medical context.
Therapeutic, yeah.
Very different from an artistic one, of course, but also there more and more transversal, and people thinking within the humanization of the medical sector. Good. So
I maybe wanted to add something to the question you had about the dance being like we have a lot of dancers who are not verbal or like almost not verbal, or but we live in a very verbal society where you have to speak up for yourself, you have to take place for yourself, all things that a lot of people with disabilities are not used to, not taught they have to do. So I think what's very important in being in a studio with dancers with disabilities, but I think everybody benefits from it. It's like dance is really an encounter moment. You encounter in physical contact, in proximity. But even though that's why I always like safe, it needs to be safe, because a lot of our dancers have been like there are a lot of people taking care of them, so they are touched with nobody asking them if it's okay. So like if they are in an institution and they have to be washed and they can't do it in a moment for themselves, it's like a lot of times without somebody saying, I will do this or I will do that. It's just like, okay, we need to go on. I don't have a lot of time. I will. So like, that's why it needs to be a safe space, like where the encounter is safe, and there's how do you say it? Toestemming in English, like some kind of consent, even if it's like. That's why we don't do. Our classes are often exclusive, because the group they know each other so good, and then if we do an encounter with P.A.R.T.S students, what we also try to do, or with other students of where this is something that's quite important. And some dancers, we have a dancer who has autism, like even looking in the eyes of another person is like, it's a huge step. It makes her very vulnerable. It's not easy. And these are assumptions we all do every day in our basic life. It's like, okay, it's normal that we do, but for her it's not normal, and it's a huge step, and it takes a lot of her energy away. So we have to take that into account if we want to be more inclusive. So that's why our classes are exclusive, so we can really focus on being able to grow in the material and in the techniques and in the
environment,
yeah,
very important. The capacity also to come.
Not being able
wheelchair,
to. Who will be there? They know who will be there, but we try to open, like we do open Fridays where we open it up the class. And then we know for some dancers of Platform K, it's harder to be there. But we know that we speak about it. What do you need to be able to participate in that class, even if it's a half an hour? But it can help. So that's why a safe space, it's not just like a safe space is a lot. It means a lot having a safe space. And even we as Platform K make mistakes in that.
Yeah, it's complex. So what is a safe space? What are the parameters? I hear scale is one of them. Timing, probably.
Timing.
Groups also. I think the groups doesn't have to be too big.
Yeah, the scale of the groups.
Yeah, small groups.
Even having the safe, we can't say we will move every week to another location. So that's why here in P.A.R.T.S, we need to make it for a long time, because otherwise it's not good for our dancers, because they need to know, I go there, I know the location, I know where the toilets are, I know the people, I have seen these other people walking around there, they're not looking funny to me, because they know I'm here. This is important. Close to public transportation, it's maybe it takes a lot of the energy for dancers with disability to make, it takes a lot of energy for everybody actually, but for them even more to make, to go from Ghent to Brussels.
Yeah.
Already a lot of energy goes lost in the transportation. So if you then make it even harder to get to the studio, then they come in the studio and all the energy is gone, and you don't have to, you can't even start dancing.
That's why you recreate this space. together. And also I think to change all the time the teachers, I think they get confused. You need a teacher, a reference, and yeah.
And or if you do that, but even not, we did it in the beginning. Every month we changed teacher. Was a very bad idea. But then we have people, we have teachers in the studio, and we have artistic coaches in the studio. And the artistic coaches are people who are part of Platform K. They work for Platform K. They are always there. We are with 3-4 people. Not always everybody's there, but we know our dancers very, very good. So if we are in the studio and we scan the room all the time, how is everybody? And it's non-verbal. A lot of times it's non-verbal, and you see, this dancer is not doing good. And you wouldn't see it, but we see it because we know them very good. And it's so important if you want inclusiveness, to have vertrouwen.
Confidence.
Yeah, but it's even
No,
Trust.
to have
Yes.
trust.
Yeah.
And trust is with the person itself and with the environment of the person. It's often very important because you link not only with the person, but with who's next to that person. How the parents, the place where they live, even asking how was your night? Did you have a good sleep, a bad sleep? And we work with like a bracelet system. We have green, orange, red. Everybody can, if you enter the studio, you can take a bracelet. The green is like, I'm okay, you can talk to me, I'm available, I'm feeling good. The orange is like, I'm not doing great, but I'm okay to dance, to be here, I'm okay to participate, but don't leave me a little bit alone, don't come too close, stay out of my personal space, and these kind of, and the red one is, I'm not doing good, and I need somebody who takes care of me. So we know, the artistic coaches know, okay, this person needs to have a talk or go outside or feel safe in another way, and without even need to have a conversation about it. So this also helps a lot, that system with the bracelets.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
but as a teacher, you really have to be aware of this, because sometimes I go outside, and okay, you go, and the idea is really to go together with the group, to create this energy, this unity into the group. And I think it's very important just to accept this also, to accept that they'll go a bit outside, and to have the ability to go slowly and to see if you can take back into the group. But I think there is really this. We need to let the things arrive like this, and not to have to fix direction.
A lot of the things you mentioned, we all need also, such as trust, actually. And you were telling me about it, a project where you did with
That we are
young people.
that we are currently doing
You're
now.
currently working
Yeah,
on trust.
on trust, on how do you give your trust and how do you obtain it physically from somebody else. So we are working with 2 different classes in the Marolles, in the center of Brussels, and it's linked to the Brigittine and a performance that we are currently creating. And just, I wanted to add on the layers of what you need. Time is